Shalom, shalom, my name is Sophie Lavender and welcome to the neurodiverse galaxy where we explore our mental health and have a good time doing so. In today's video I want to talk about something very important, and that is what I like to call the 3 states of overwhelm. And the reason why I'm doing this video now is because there's a lot of people in the autistic community who are really having a hard time at the moment coping with lockdown, coping with all the changes that are going on, and these are causing us to have shutdowns, meltdowns, and one that I'm personally dealing with at the moment, burnouts. And to do this I'm going to briefly go over all 3 of these, but I will be going over each one individually in more detail in later videos, as they do deserve to be fully explained. So in this video I will be going over shutdowns, meltdowns and burnouts, but I will also be showing you what you can do today, right now, to help find your peace, your cosmic calm, and to just ride the wave of anxiety. We're all in this together and we're all kind of dealing with so many emotions and feelings right now that we hadn't felt because we were so distracted by everyday life. Content warning, I do need to mention, as we're talking about shutdowns, meltdowns and burnouts, or the 3 states of overwhelm as I like to call them, there is a trigger warning for self-harm. It is mentioned as people who are going through meltdowns are at a higher risk of harming themselves. The first state of overwhelm that we're going to go through is shutdowns. A shutdown, when simply put, are when we're so overwhelmed with sensory experiences happening all around us that we just shut down and we go into ourselves. We physically withdraw and we retreat and we hide away, and we are shut down because the overstimulation has gotten so much that we physically cannot cope with the environment anymore, and we need to retreat and find a calm place in order to recover and in order to function again. During a shutdown it can be difficult for us to move, and we may even become non-verbal, and that is why a shutdown is more discreet than a meltdown. Now the second state of overwhelm we're going to briefly go over is called meltdowns, and this is the one that I find that neurotypical people are most aware of, but dare I say not quite fully aware of, as meltdowns are still getting confused with a tantrum. Now a tantrum in a child is when the child wants something and doesn't get its own way, so it lashes out, and tantrums are kind of like a kid's way of trying to draw attention to themselves and manipulate the situation, whereas a meltdown it's pretty much like on the opposite. A meltdown is when the situation that you're in, the environment that you're in, has become excruciatingly painful and you lash out because you're in pain, you are hurting, and you don't want the attention. And in fact a lot of people who have meltdowns feel really embarrassed after the meltdown. So please do not punish your child for having a meltdown. Do not be mad at them, do not be angry at them, but also at the same time, if an adult is having a meltdown, please understand that they are in a lot of pain, they are hurting, that they need to find a safe space, a quiet space, and please don't patronize them. Don't tell them to calm down or keep the wig on. That's like adding gasoline to a fire. That's going to add to the sense of overwhelm, because we can have meltdowns due to, you know, emotionally overwhelming situations such as this pandemic. So during a meltdown, the kind of the anger and the frustration that you feel is directionless, and they do make you feel like you're going out of control, that nothing is in control, that everything is like slipping through your fingers. They are really, really awful experiences. They are distressing and they're painful, and they can also cause you to go nonverbal and need to retreat. And meltdowns can also include crying and, unfortunately, self-harm. When you experience either a shutdown or a meltdown, you have reached your absolute peak of what you can take emotionally, sensory, and with stimulating. That's not a word, but it's a word now. And lastly, the last state of overwhelm that we're going to go over today is burnout. And this is a big one that I'm currently struggling with, and it's why I haven't usually been my chatty self to my friends online, so really sorry guys. But this is also the most common state of overwhelm an autistic adult will go through, and a burnout is caused by trying to fit into society for so long, trying to play as a neurotypical person, trying to keep up a facade of not being autistic and therefore neglecting your needs. And it's where you literally cannot keep up with masking. You can't keep up with it anymore, and you feel like you just really need to be your true autistically authentic self, and you need to start looking after your own needs again. And a burnout can cause you to lose motivation, and also cause you to lose certain functioning abilities, such as being able to stay organized and make decisions, and that is a really, really tough one, especially as an adult. Burnout also affects your social skills, and you may struggle with knowing how to respond to people. That's a big one that I've been struggling with recently. You may also feel really fatigued, tired, exhausted, and you may also have digestive issues, and you may also become nonverbal. Causes of what can result in a shutdown, meltdown, and burnout are sensory overload, emotional overload, doing too much, changes such as changes in routine or jobs or even relationships, such as what's going on right now with the lockdown and the pandemic and everything, where everything's changing and I feel like I can't keep up, and it's like bleh. Also, what can cause you to be in a state of overwhelm is suppressing your autistic traits in order to fit in with non-autistic people, and also you can get these states of overwhelmed if you're dealing with an illness. And the following activities have been recommended by people in the autism community. Shout out to Sean, Debbie and Sean for kind of confirming that what I'd put on my list is definitely the right thing. I always have to double check and make sure that what I'm saying is legit. And I do recommend speaking to the autistic community about these things, because we're the ones who live with these experiences, and we have these really unique points of view that are definitely worth hearing from. And to help explain this list, I'm going to move my camera around and I want to show you some really cool stuff. And the following list is also a useful lockdown survival guide in general if you're feeling emotionally overwhelmed and you're struggling and you need some ideas on how to relax. Now I'll just move the camera around so that we can see all of this cool stuff and go into this and talk about more on shutdowns, meltdowns and burnouts, and what you can do today to find your cosmic calm and feel a million times better, and what you can do in future when you feel the need to retreat. Now, talking of retreat, the number one thing that you should do straight away is find a place that is physically calm, your quiet place, a place where you feel safe to be yourself and to just chill and relax, and that you can adapt to whatever sensory need you're feeling right now. So my kind of quiet zone, my special place, is my bedroom, and it's where I have all of my things to help with shutdowns, meltdowns and burnouts. So depending on your sensory need, you can draw the curtains to block out the daylight or any street lights outside, and depending on the person, you might like to put on some nice calming fairy lights, which I personally love, because they just make the atmosphere just that much more The next thing to do is to find yourself a really cool blanket. I have here, you can't quite see it because of all my friends here, a Remy slash Sumo, they've changed the name for some reason, weighted blanket. I have 12 kilograms because I want to be squashed. Also, depending on your sensory need, again, autism is different. It's different from each person to person, but also each shutdown, meltdown or burnout can be slightly different. Sometimes you find yourself in like a midpoint between them. I have a few times where I'm like, am I having a shutdown or a meltdown? I don't know, I just feel like I want to cry and explode right now. So depending on that need, you can either put on some ear defenders or earplugs, or what you can do, which is what I like to do, play some rain sounds, ocean sounds, or some calming music, or listen to an audio that makes you feel really calm. Like perhaps you've got an audiobook that you absolutely love. If you have a podcast that's of a special interest, that's better, that's really good. Another thing that's highly recommended when you're in a state of overwhelm is a cuddly friend. And I love these so much. Not gonna lie, these are my favourite way to feel calm. When I'm really stressed, I have like the need to just cuddle something and just to like hold something. So these, like if you can get like a soft toy, these are great. And don't let anyone judge you. If you're an autistic adult, don't let anybody judge you for having a cuddly friend. These are designed to make you feel better. I also have, I have loads. I'm not going to show you them all today. This as well. The thicker the better. We like our soft toys thick and squishy and super fluffy and cozy. Another really cool kind of activity you can do to help calm down is we have glitter bottle, and glitter bottles are a great way to find your calm. I want to say that a lot because it is really important. And the idea of a glitter bottle is you shake it up. I have two, so I want to show you the purple one. You give it a good shake, and then you just watch the glitter float around, and you just watch it kind of sink back to the bottom. And by the time it reaches the bottom, you should feel a little bit better. These ones in particular though were made of glass, and that's because I use them more for ornamental purposes personally, because I just thought they looked really cool. But if you do make one and you do intend on using it regularly, please don't use glass, because if you drop it, it's going to be dangerous, it's going to be unsafe, and that's a lot to clean up. If you're not in the mood for a sensory toy, a stimming toy, or a calm craft activity, you can indulge in a special interest. My special interest is photography, so even though I can't go out and take photos at the moment, I can follow photographers online and kind of get inspired for when the lockdown is over. And another really cool special interest of mine, and another really good activity to do if you need a distraction and you need to escape from the stresses that are going on right now, is video games. I love games, like not a lot of people know this, but I'm a huge gamer. I love video gaming. The next thing that I would like to share is, if you don't fancy any of the things I've mentioned so far, there are more. There's always more, there's always something. And we have colouring books, and you can get colouring books for any age now, which is actually fantastic. I'm so glad the concept of adult colouring books, and I say that in quotation marks because really any colouring book is for anybody. But this is my favourite one, the tattoo colouring book. So during a really stressful period 2 years ago, 2017, no, that's 3 years ago now, I kind of spent a lot of time colouring, and I found that really therapeutic, so here's one that I did. You could also, and this is a thing that I've found that helps a lot of people, is journaling. You can also, if you don't have a games console but want to still experience that feeling of escapism, it's a nice book. And it can be any book. Any book that kind of just transports you to another place is definitely recommended. You can also do some drawing, and this is my kind of little book right here. I drew a fox wrong, but I don't care. If you have a pet in your household, a really good way to feel calm again and feel like yourself again is to spend time with an animal. I have a Labrador and I have 2 cats, and my brother has a gecko, which is a pretty cool pet to have. They are ace. They are top tier. They're amazing. And having a pet there provides a sense of reassurance, because like I said in my last video, pets don't judge you, and they love you, and it's like a sense of unconditional love, and that is a really reassuring thing to have when you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed. During a state of overwhelm, sometimes you can feel a bit dehydrated or a bit hungry afterwards because you've burned up so much energy during the meltdown, burnout or shutdown. So whilst you're retreating, bring a snack, bring a drink. If you bring a hot drink, please make sure it is definitely cooled down before you drink it. I know that sounds obvious, but I always forget, and I always end up like burning myself on my tongue or the roof of my mouth. Another really important thing to do is that when you're retreating from a state of overwhelm and you're calming yourself back down, don't think about work, don't think about school, because you are no good to anybody if you are not looking after yourself. You can't continue giving out so much if you don't have anything to give to yourself. Like they keep on saying, you can't pour from an empty cup, and that is so true, and that is so important. So please put the work away, put the school away, and really take this time to focus on you, because only you got your back, only you have you. And if you're not your own best friend, and if you're not your own #1 fan, then first of all, I love you and I believe in you. But second of all, please take time to get to know yourself and to know what you like and what makes you feel calm, and really focus on filling up the cup that is you before you go back out and be your wonderful self. Another really calm activity that I like to do when retreating is to just sleep. Just nap. That's it. Grab a pillow, grab a cuddly amigo, have a siesta, have a nap, and then by the time you wake up again, you should feel a sense of being refreshed and you can get back to it, which is great. I also really like a calming TV show. So at the beginning of the lockdown, when all these changes started first happening and I first started freaking out, and trust me, I was freaking out. I was like, I just like internally exploded everywhere. What really helped me is just a TV show that is calming, and 9 times out of 10 that's a cartoon. And like I said earlier, if you're an autistic adult, don't let anyone judge you for watching cartoons. Cartoons are specifically designed to calm you down. That's why they show them to children. They are there to kind of take you away from a stress and put you in a place of calm. And there's nothing horrible in a cartoon. You can watch a cartoon, and particularly a kid's cartoon, and you're already reassured in the fact that nothing horrible is going to happen in this cartoon. Nothing gruesome, nothing super triggering. is going to happen in a kids cartoon, so you can watch that and you can really feel safe. Another really important thing to do is that if you seriously feel as though you are at risk of harm and hurting yourself, or you just feel really overwhelmed and you want to hear a calming voice, please call a friend, reach out to a friend. That's what friends are there for. As a friend, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you, and I'm here to make you feel better. That's my job, to be your cheerleader and your coach at the same time, and just to kind of make sure you're safe. I'd rather hear from you at 3 a.m. than hear from your parents or another friend that you've ended up in hospital because you've hurt yourself. So please be reassured that you're not a burden. A couple important things that I want to read out in regards to that is that if you're living with someone who is autistic and you can tell they're about to have a meltdown, or they just started to have a meltdown, please, this is super important. Move them, if you can, to a quiet place. Guide them to somewhere calm and quiet in their environment. And please move anything away from them that they could hurt themselves or accidentally hurt somebody else on. If it's just you there and you can feel meltdown, shutdown, burnout impending, please move yourself away from dangerous rooms that have dangerous things in them, such as the bathroom and the kitchen, and go to a safe, calming place such as your bed. If you have urges to self-harm, please use an elastic band against your wrist or draw over yourself. Pen marks can be washed off, but you are precious, you are valid, and you are loved, and you can never be replaced. If you are with someone and you are okay with physical contact, then have a cuddle, or cuddle your dog or your cat, or ask the person to link arms with you and hold your hand to provide a sense of physical reassurance. After a shutdown or a meltdown or a burnout, it's really important to see what triggered the state of overwhelm and what you and your family can do to prevent it from happening again. For example, if you regularly feel overwhelmed in a supermarket, like you just cannot deal with supermarkets because there's too much stuff going on, see if you can have somebody else go to the supermarket on your behalf, or see if you can get your food delivered. But it is super important to be in a safe place, and to prevention is better than cure. Try go to places that could be potentially triggering as little as possible, only when you absolutely have to and there are no other options. And if you can, in that sense, please bring somebody else to help provide you with reassurance throughout the supermarket trip. If a particular restaurant or a pub makes you feel overwhelmed, then you can either go when you know it's going to be quiet, or you could just go somewhere else. There are a couple of pubs where I am locally that are really overstimulating, so I don't go there that often. And that so far wraps it up for everything in this video today. We've talked about shutdowns, meltdowns and burnouts, and we've talked about quite a few things you can do to find your cosmic calm and be happy and be peaceful and be the best you that you can be. And you can do pretty much most, if not all of these things right away to kind of bring you back to your wonderful self. Being in a state of overwhelm is really distressing. It's not a fun place to be at all. So that's why it's super important to get back to feeling a sense of peace again. And if you have found this video useful in any way, please share it with your friends and family and fellow people in the neurodiverse galaxy. We really need each other right now, and anything that we can do to help each other is really, really important. And if you have any suggestions on what makes you feel calm, please let us know in the comments below. It can really help somebody who is struggling right now. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Shalom Lavender. Thank you so much for giving me your time. I hope you have a wonderful day in the galaxy. May the stars bring you joy, and may you have an awesome time. But until next Wednesday, bye!